Can you tell me in one word how playing roller derby makes you feel?
Motivated.
Accepted.
Exhilarated.
Equanimous.
Invincible.
Happy.
Elated.
Alive.
So Terminal City Roller Derby is a flat track league based in Vancouver, Canada.
So many people in the roller derby community know of Terminal City.
Terminal City was a very highly ranked team. They were pretty undefeated in Western Canada. Like Montreal was obviously the best team in Canada, but Terminal City was like a close second.
TCRD had a very strong roster back in the day. A lot of experienced skaters that have since retired.
Unfortunately, the league lost a ton of members during COVID, and we've just been rebuilding the league in the last 12 months.
To watch everything come back from being almost dead has been exciting. But you know, the more people you put in a space, the more potential there is for interpersonal conflicts.
This year has been incredibly stressful. There was a lot of conflict between different members who wanted the league to be a different way.
Legacies feel like there's so much pressure. If you think about it in any other context, the pressure to keep up a legacy can really break and shatter. It has like people, families, teams. You're constantly comparing yourself to what it used to be rather than really being able to appreciate what you're doing now. And I think there's a few people who have something to prove.
So, what is derby? A friend of mine likes to call it a game of wheelie shoes, and I really do like that description. What it is essentially is a sport that is played on an oval track where players are wearing roller skates, not roller blades.
So I'd say there's probably two main types of roller derby that people are aware of. And the first one is bank track, which was sort of the original roller derby that people would have seen on television, and that's in Whippet. So it's like those actual slanted tracks where people are going around in a circle. So flat track is basically where they took the bank track, they flattened the size, and that just became the flat version of it.
The roller derby game is made up of two 30-minute halves. Each half is split into 2-minute jams. You put on your 5 players from each team onto the track for each jam, and at the end of the jam, all of those players come off and the next group goes on.
There's 1 jammer from each team and 4 blockers from each team, so 10 in total on the track.
The objective of the game is to score points.
So a jam can be up to 2 minutes, but that's actually controlled by whichever jammer gets out first, passes the opposing team's blockers, they get lead. And so when you get lead, you can call off the jam at any point by tapping your hips. And generally you do that to stop the other team's jammer from getting any points.
Jammers are scoring the points. A jammer has the star on their helmet. So they'll skate around the track. Each blocker that they pass, they get 1 point. Blockers are trying to stop the jammer from getting points, but also help their own team's jammer to get the points. And then a pivot is a special blocker. They have a stripe on their helmet, and they can become the jammer. So if the jammer is really stuck and they can't get through, the jammer will take off their star cover and they'll hand it to the pivot.
Roller derby is completely different for me in that it's not just a sport, it's a complete community. It's sort of a lifestyle in a way, because once you become part of a roller derby team, you have another family. And I just love the community that it fosters. I'm crying now.
It's just like a great microcosm of society that really is trying to be about lifting each other up and pushing each other forward. So.
I know sometimes when I've been in like groups of people, I kind of feel like just like a little weirdo. I've always felt like I'm kind of like a little creep on the outside looking in. Like part of the group, but I'm also like, but can people see that I'm different and I don't really belong? And so Derby has been really great because I feel like I don't have to, like I don't have that feeling. I just feel like myself.
I think there's a really strong bond in the roller derby community because it is such a fringe sport, and the type of people that it attracts tends to be people that haven't necessarily fit in with other groups, or they're coming into this having never played a team sport before. A lot of the time the people that are playing are generally queer or neurodivergent, so it's just like this kind of group of little weirdos that gets on really well with each other because we're all a little bit weird.
So I am a founding member of Terminal City. Back then we were Terminal City Roller Girls. We've since rebranded to Terminal City Roller Derby. It came about because of the Roller Girls show.
That series was about this group of women in Texas, in Austin, Texas, that had just decided, I don't even know how they decided, but they just decided they wanted to play roller derby, and they wanted to make it, you know, they wanted to make it a women's sport, and they wanted to make it punk rock.
So our first league president, Nikki Mercury, posted on Craigslist saying, "Oh my God, I just finished watching this show, Roller Girls. I'm obsessed. Like, how do we do this in Vancouver?" We met up at the Lamplighter down in Gastown, had some beer and nachos, and that is when Terminal City started.
I think the highest ranking that we got was number 18 in the world, which was pretty cool at the time because that was the time when it was very competitive in roller derby.
Lulu fighting her way to the front. Just as Roller Girl up front. Roller Girl working her over, then goes Booty Quick. Tag teaming Lulu Demon, knocked out of bounds.
So many people in the roller derby community know of Terminal City, know of a lot of the players like Lulu Demon.
As Lulu Demon comes up on the outside.
Like all of these players who are part of like a really deep history from like 15, 16 years ago. And they had a huge presence like globally.
That's a record for the evening, 18 points in one jam.
During COVID, COVID pretty much annihilated roller derby across North America. I would say anyone that had been playing for more than 5 years, you know, hit their expiry date and checked out. And those of us that wanted to stick around just kind of held on. So I think Terminal City had a handful of refs and 3 skaters left in 2020. We had the lovely Whips show up in town and decide that she wanted to help us rebuild here at Terminal City.
I pitched a rebuild plan to the former board of TCRD, the board at the time, and it was a 12-month plan that I'd come up with, and I pitched it as, you have this money reserve, we are going to use it, you're going to lose all of that money, but by the end of that 12 months, we're going to have a league and we're going to be playing games.
A few things come to mind for challenges that we're running into as a fast-growing league. I see a lot of ambition and a lot of excitement, and I think like finding a steady pace to grow at is something I'm seeing a bit of a struggle with.
This past year has brought some conflict for sure, but I think that that's mostly stemmed from growing pains. We have grown quite a bit in a very short time. We're in an awkward middle ground between what we used to be, where TCRD was a very, very large league, and then what we were more recently, which was a very, very small league.
So, to be a member of the Women's Flat Track Derby Association, a roller derby league has to be a nonprofit. And nonprofits need a board of directors to function, and the board of directors makes decisions that facilitate that functioning. Our bylaws had the weird requirement that all grievances go to the board, and so we had to deal with a lot of interpersonal drama that got in the way of actually making decisions.
I feel like it really took away the magic of like being in a derby community. And there were a lot of times where people in my life who weren't in derby were telling me to leave or to quit. I think it's hard to communicate why you would stay in an environment that is maybe so detrimental to your mental health at times. But the thing is, like, this is not uncommon. Like, I've had conversations with other people in different leagues who have been on the board where they've said, you know, like, I would just come home and cry all the time. And like, it's just almost an accepted fact of being in a league that there's going to be conflict. Being on the board sucks. I don't know why people stay. I can only talk for myself, which is that I feel like I'm scared of losing this space in the community, and that's why I stick around. I cannot think of a single thing that could replace the like feeling and the community that I have through roller derby. And so I feel like a lot of people, including myself, stick through it even when it's really difficult because we're not willing to let it go.
I first joined Terminal City in September 2023. I feel like my confidence has almost been depleting as I've been getting older. So I find in comparison to other folks, I see people getting older and, you know, once you drop your teenage skin, your confidence starts to get better and it rises with your age, where I find mine seems to be going the opposite direction. Looking at myself like outside in, I don't understand why, because I figure myself fairly happy. You know, I'm not very down on my luck. So confidence is a big thing. And I feel like I play roller derby because it fills that hole where I don't have any confidence at all. So when I find that I can do something that I was like, there's no way I could do that, I was never gonna get that skill, I was never gonna be able to take that hit, and then I do, it just gives me that little inch of confidence that I don't think I was gonna get from anything else. People could tell me all the nice things about me and I'm not gonna hear it, I'm not gonna believe it, but to put myself in a situation of this sport and be able to do these things, it's the best way I can gain confidence and feel like I achieved it and I deserved it.
So my derby number is 444, and it has a bit of two meanings. My mom is Chinese, and she would always tell me like 4 is very unlucky in our culture because the pronunciation in Cantonese for the number 4 sounds like death. I just thought like, what would be an intimidating number? And I thought 666 because everybody thinks that. And then I was like, everybody's gonna have that number. So I'll make it a little bit specific. Choose 4s, and it horrified my mom. And my late friend had the angel numbers 444 tattooed on her. And so I just thought that worked out perfectly. I used to have a really poor relationship with my body in that, like, I was, as a teenager, I had an eating disorder, and I actually met my late friend in treatment. So I had to make a decision basically after she passed away. Like, I was kind of stuck in like this semi-recovery where I would like, you know, be semi-recovered, but also continue to engage in these restrictive behaviors. So I was never really fully recovered and she was kind of in the same state. She passed away from complications of her eating disorder, and that really just kind of like, it just kind of was like a kick in the butt to get better, because it was like, you can't like it would be such a betrayal to her basically if I continued to act this way when she lost her life to it. So that was like the turning point, and being like engaging in exercise was always something that I like used to abuse. And so I was really worried about like kind of going to roller skating and be like worried if that was gonna like restart things like that. But being in a space that was so accepting and so like could not give a single heck about your body, like it was very healing. I think just like shifting to wanting strength instead of like, I don't know, slimness is just like a big turning point for me.
For me personally, roller derby has been a really healthy way to channel, I would say, like aggression and anger that I've had. I would say especially when I was younger, I had a lot of anger in general, like, you know, at society, at myself, especially because I was not out yet as like a queer person. But a lot of that anger became self-directed. The thing about derby is it's a really healthy outlet, at least for me, to get my anger and aggression out. And it feels like a really healthy coping mechanism, whereas I would say I haven't always had very healthy coping mechanisms in the past. It's celebrated when you hit someone really hard and knock them down and give them a bruise, and like not just celebrated from your team, but also generally from the people you hit. Like if someone hits me and clears me off the track, I'm usually like, wow, that was a great hit. Like you should be really happy with yourself. So it's a celebration of strength. It's a celebration of, I don't know, I guess it's a celebration of pain in some way, but like in a healthy way.
My body does not want me to play roller derby, but I really want to play roller derby. In January, I got labyrinthitis. It inflames the nerves in your ear canal and it swells them so that you have vertigo all the time. And then my knees and lower legs were like, nah, we're not feeling it. And unfortunately now I have Achilles tendonitis, so I'm still not on skates, even when I can't directly exercise with everyone else. I can still show up with my speaker and my DJ playlist on Spotify that has puns for every drill that we do. And when I don't come to practice, people message me on Slack and they're like, hey, we missed you, we missed your pun songs. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, I'm loved, I'm part of a thing. And it's great because I am wanted here. I belong, and it's great. I love it. I'm crying again.
I noticed.
The roller derby community has been a second family. It's been incredibly supportive for me. It's not to say that it, like any family, it's not without conflicts, but there have been so many people that I've met literally around the world in the community that I've made friends with and networked with, and you see people in every kind of job, every kind of lifestyle, every kind of sexuality. It's just like a great microcosm of society that really is trying to be about lifting each other up and pushing each other forward. So.
Hello, this is Super Smash Ho, though everyone just calls me Smash. I'm a board and league member at Terminal City, but I'm also the producer and director of this series. What I've seen our league really struggle with this year is to figure out exactly who we want to be. Do we want to chase our legacy and make Terminal City competitive again? Or do we want to be a recreational league and just have fun? Or maybe we want to be somewhere in between those two. I'm hoping that by understanding where we came from, maybe we can better understand where we want to go next. So in our next episode, we'll start at the beginning of the Terminal City story.